Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your June 2020 mid-month general reading. This reading is for the air sign of Aquarius for the last half of June 2020. Welcome everyone. I hope that you're all safe, you're all well, sane. I know with, the virus, the pandemic, the restrictions, politics, protests, lockdowns, it can seem like the world is going a bit crazy, fluctuating, anxiety, stress, fear about we don't even know what yet, so I hope that everyone is continuing to do well within that, and try to make sure in the midst of every day that you take at least a little bit of time to kind of do something that makes you feel good, distracts you a bit, all of that kind of stuff could be helpful in keeping our mental health even. So, and thank you all of you for all that you do and have continued to do in support of this channel. Like, share, subscribes, donations, reaching out for personal readings, or just taking the time to tune into the videos. Thank you so much. So, Aquarius, this reading is for you for the last half of June. Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, Rising, Venus. If you're cross-watching for Aquarian, all of your signs, watch them all if you know them and if you can, because they can all bring in additional bits of information which can add to clarity and validation and give you some guidance on how to move forward through whatever's going on in your life right now. If any of the videos do resonate with you and you'd like to take a deeper look at something, reach out for a personal reading or information. You can click on the description link below, click on that little arrow that pulls down info. You'll see my email address there, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. Feel free to email me. I can usually respond within the same day or the first 24 hours with more info. And I do readings full time. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with your schedule, my schedule, to get readings set up as quickly as possible for you. So email me if you're interested. All right, Aquarius, let's get right into this. See what the last half of June is holding for you. I am using Legacy of the Divine Tarot today. Okay, Aquarius, we begin with the Seven of Cups, followed by the Nine of Cups, we have the Two of Swords, followed by the Hermit, from the bottom of the deck. Overall energy and focus for the last half of June is the Five of Swords. So Aquarius, for some of you, don't shoot the messenger, okay? Well, not that you can through the screen, but just don't anyway. For some of you, yeah, I'm getting two different groups here, two different stories. So for some of you, it looks like you are determined to win at something at all costs, or determined to push forward to something, attaining some goal or something that you've set your mind on at all costs, even if, I mean, good or bad, realistic or unrealistic, no matter what other people are telling you, no matter what the facts might be telling you, no matter what you're hearing, no matter how hard it is, it's like you've set your mind on something, or on the idea of something, and you're going to push through towards that regardless of what, even if it like goes against evidential facts or something. That's for some of you. Because I'm getting two different contradictory groups here. So it looks like you have, okay, all right, let me break this down because I'm literally getting two very different stories in my head. So your overall focus and energy is the Five of Swords. This represents winning. It's a victory. It may not feel very much like a victory at the time because this person has obviously just finished a battle. They're still on the battlefield. They've gathered up all their opponents' weapons, their ability to hurt them, so their people can't hurt them anymore, and they've won. But they're tired, worn out, exhausted, got some wounds, some cuts on them. It hasn't been an easy victory. And they may not feel particularly victorious. They may just like want to get the hell off this battlefield, go home, take all the clingy, clangy stuff off, put their feet up and have a beer. It's a card of winning, but it's winning at all costs, and the cost may be quite high. Sometimes the costs in this card may represent people. Now, this is where this splits and diverges and goes two different ways. Sometimes the Five of Swords can be a cautionary card or a card about being careful because this represents winning at all costs, climbing up the ladder of success and not caring who you step on the way up there, which means that you're going to burn a lot of bridges. It can represent needing to be always right in your relationship, always having the last word, being the right one always, kind of at all costs, being one up kind of thing, which can cost you relationships and friendships and things of that sort. It's winning at all costs, at any cost. So cautionary with that, is this worth it or is it not worth it, is what I'm trying. The question that often accompanies that when this card carries this energy, and I feel like it does for some of you, but not for all of you. But the question that always accompanies that energy is it worth it? Is what I think that I want or that I'm trying to attain or struggle for, is it worth any cost I have to pay for it? Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes it's no. So that's it for some of you. For others of you, this can represent winning a very difficult battle. It needed to be won, and you do have to leave people behind, but they're people that might be exploitative or selfish or self-absorbed in a very negative way. And it's a difficult victory because you have to leave people behind, and it hurts, and you're scarred and all of that kind of stuff. But it is a victory, even though you may not be able to see that or feel it for a little while. So it may be that for some of you. Because for some of you, this is being completely blind to anything other than what you want, refusing to see anything other than what you want, and you don't care what it takes to get what you want. But it may end up costing you too much in the long run. So for those of you for whom that might resonate or give you a little ping, keep that in mind. For others of you, you had your sights set on something before, but it was unrealistic, and it's kind of that your victory is moving away from a person, place, or job or situation where you had this idealized vision of it, what it was going to be and all its perfect potential and possibility. And over time, you came to a realization that that illusion kind of died. And illusions, by their nature, are kind of dangerous things because they have no flaws, right? So, yeah. So there was kind of death of a dream or an illusion, which is always kind of difficult, but it's always best that we see the reality of that, even if it means leaving selfish people behind. They were people we invested in and had, love for, or job. It could be love and romance, it could be job, it could be a variety of different things. This is a general reading. It's going to be one thing for some of you and another thing for others of you. This might be in your career life, it might be in relationship. So for some of you, it's being completely focused on one thing no matter what it costs you to get there, being like winning at all costs, and the cost might be too high. You have to you're the only one that can decide that, right? For others of you, you're this unrealistic vision you had of what something was going to be. The victory for you is in seeing that it isn't, and you need to move out of that so that you can move on to a different path where you have the possibility of having something real and beautiful and healthy, whether that's in love and romance, friendship, family, work, whatever. So the victory is your overall energy. It's a hard victory. You don't feel particularly victorious, but you've won. Whether it's good or not so good is up to each of your individual lives and your own judgment. So here we have the Seven of Cups and the Nine of Cups. Gosh, 10 minutes just on that one card. We'll try to move through this. Seven of Cups, Nine of Cups. The Seven of Cups can be a card of illusion. It's dreams. It's perfection, possibility, potential. Each one of these cups holds something wonderful, extraordinary, impossibly perfect. It represents the possibility and potential of dreams and ideas and what you want to become. Nothing wrong with that. We all need to dream. That's where everything starts, with a dream, with an idea. But you have to, but it's all water energy, that's cups. So it's all emotional, swirly energy. It can represent, fantasizing, daydreaming, building castles in the sky. Great. But you have to choose one, which is the one most possible, and then put the work into it, the air energy, the earth energy, the fire energy, into actually manifesting. On its own, this is a card of just daydreaming and focusing only on the possibility and the perfection of what something could be instead of what something actually is. So, clarifying that is the Nine of Cups, the wish fulfillment, the winning the lottery, the having everything that you want, an overabundance of things that you want. Together, I'm not sure, whether you're the one that's really obsessed on getting what you want at all costs, or whether you're the one that's kind of, boy, I'm seeing this for the reality of it is. I'm not fond of the energy of these two cards together, the Seven of Cups and the Nine of Cups. It's all emotional energy, but it speaks of kind of being unrealistic about, I'm in this job, or I'm in this relationship, or I'm in this situation, and I see the potential of what it could be. It could be this beautiful, perfect thing, and I have this vision of what it's going to be, and whether that's realistic or not, that's what you're focused on. And the energy of these two cards together is very kind of dreamy and kind of unrealistic, so keep that in mind. Now, for some of you, the reason this victory is so hard is because you've woken up to the fact that this job, this relationship it's not this beautiful, perfect thing, nor is it ever going to be this beautiful and possibly perfect thing. And the realizing of that is a victory in a sense. It is, because it then starts you on a path of a healthy, joyful reality, the possibility and potential of that. But it hurts. You're tired, worn out, exhausted, wounded, right? And then for some of you, you just have this vision in your head. And again, there's nothing wrong with having dreams and visions, but this looks like, for some of you, it's unrealistic, but you're just refusing to see that. You're like going for it, knocking people over because in your kind of single-mindedness, single-focusedness, if that's a word. Well, it is, because I just said it. And you're ignoring everything else. Not so great. Here we have the Two of Swords and the Hermit. So again, a split message. The Two of Swords, and I don't like how this sits next to the Seven of Cups, for those of you who are like obsessively focused on achieving your goal at all costs, right? For those for whom this reading is for. The Two of Swords represents being stuck, blind, needing to make a choice, duality, as twos often do. But the Two of Swords is often what I refer to as the head stuck in the sand card. There's something, the blindfold represents you can't see, but often with the Two of Swords there's a reluctance or a resistance to not looking at something. In my Gilded Tarot deck, the swords are crossed in front of the person. Here it's almost an aggressive, I'm holding the swords out, which represents air, information, knowledge, truth, reality. I'm holding them out because I don't want to look at them, and I'm keeping this blindfold on because there's something I don't want to see, Like ignoring one of my favorite analogies for this, ignoring the 800-pound purple gorilla that lives in your living room. You have to clean up after it or around it and kind of dust it off, and it's there. You never really look directly at it. It's there. You can sometimes see it out of the corner of your eye, but as long as you don't look at it directly and acknowledge its existence, you don't have to do anything about it, right? It's just this big purple gorilla that lives in the corner of your living room. Now, once the blindfold comes off, you can see. I have this big purple gorilla living in my living room, and I really need to figure out what I'm going to do about this. But as long as you keep the blindfold on and the swords up, you don't have to. And I don't like it sitting next to the Seven of Cups, because this is, fantasy, illusion, daydreaming, castles in the sky, dreamy energy. And the Two of Swords is, I don't want to look at this, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to make any other decision other than what I'm focused on. This is my person, this is my soulmate, we're going to get married and live happily ever after in a white picket fence, when this may not be the right person for you at all. Or vice versa, put in whatever. And again, there are a portion of you for whom I'm reading for, Aquarius, that this victory you have won that's been so difficult was necessary and needed, because the illusions you had about a person, place, job, or situation, you needed to see the reality of that. I mean, with the Two of Swords is the Hermit. These are like two very different energies. This is somebody who's willfully, almost petulantly going, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want to deal with it. If I don't look at it, if I don't acknowledge it, I don't have to do anything about it. I'm just going to stay focused on what I'm focused on, this perfect thing, this. But the Hermit withdraws to seek out guidance, wisdom, illumination. It's a solitary path, but he's all about getting the insight, getting the illumination, getting the wisdom. Here's what I'm getting for some of you, a portion of you. I think that in the dawning realization of realizing that this thing you thought was going to be this thing, and all of a sudden you're realizing, you know what, this isn't going to be that thing, and I need to see it for what it really is. You're retreating, you're withdrawing to look at that, to learn from that, and to make plans on what you need to do moving forward, especially if it's a situation you've realized isn't what you thought it was going to be, or what you kept telling yourself it was going to be, and you need to figure out how to get out of it. It's not a situation you can just leave suddenly or easily, so you need to make plans to get out of it. So let's clarify a little bit of this. What is this Five of Swords about? Because it's likely for some of you about morals, ethics, maybe a moral or ethical situation. Am I really doing the right thing here, or am I just like bulldozing everybody over on my way to attain the thing? Some of you, it might be, I'm seeing that this thing I thought was going to be this perfect job, this perfect relationship, this perfect whatever, isn't. And I need to see that too. Page of Swords. Sometimes the Page of Swords can represent being in a moral or ethical dilemma. What's the right thing to do here? But the energy is still a page. I'm unsure, I'm uncertain. Should I do something? Should I say something? If so, what, when, how? The Page of Swords is also a messenger of information, delivering something, delivering the truth. Yeah, again, I feel like there's two different Aquarians, a group of Aquarians I'm reading for. One of you are like, and again, don't shoot the messenger, but if I can't help it if you do, it's like you've got your sights set on the thing for you, and everything around you, maybe people around you, or even evidence is like, but that's not really the thing. And you're like, yes, it is. It's the thing. It's my thing. I'm going for it. I don't care what happens. I'm going to go for it. I don't care what gets run over in the process. That's my thing, and I'm going for the thing. And actually, you're being asked to question yourself, really? Is that really the thing? And even if it is the thing, is it worth that? Is it worth giving up this? Is it worth this sacrifice? It's up to you to make that decision. For some of you, there's some kind of news or information or something coming in. Could be a situation or a conversation where you're seeing that what you have thought the thing was and what the thing was going to be isn't. And that's kind of like the death of the popping of a balloon, the death of a dream, which basically wasn't attainable, so it was an illusion. And it's difficult, but it does put you on the right path. Others of you, you're being asked to question whether or not you're on the right path or not. Some of you are taking some time off to take a look at that and make plans on maybe what you need to do moving forward. And others of you are struggling with feeling an intuitive pull in one way, but I want the thing is pulling you in another way. That's kind of what I'm getting. And I'm also getting this sense, I don't know why, but I'm getting the sense that some of you, having come to the realization that what you thought you were investing in or invested in has turned out to be nothing more than an illusion you've given yourself. And you're making, I'm getting these secret plans or plans you're not talking about on how to take yourself out of this situation. It's interesting. For just a few of you. All right, let's pull some final advice and guidance cards for you, Aquarius. Six of Swords. Moving away from the worst of it, moving away from a troubled, turbulent time, maybe even physically moving. This is a card of peace, restoration, healing, moving away from the source of whatever the difficulty, struggle, whatever that is. You're not quite to the other shore and on solid ground, but you're moving there. It's a card of healing. So get away from the conflict, move away from it. This is a healing time. This is something you need to leave behind you. Some of you are doing that anyway. Some of you are making plans to do that. Some of you need to take a look at doing that. Right behind it is death. Yeah, death. Death of an illusion, death of dreams, death, transformation, endings, transformation, healing, which makes sense because this is a card of a difficult battle. You've won, but it's, you're tired, you're worn out, you're exhausted, you're probably wounded, There's been endings, the death of something ending, and there obviously needs to be a healing and reparation and restoration time period while you kind of lick your wounds and heal and rest and recuperate and get some different perspectives, which can only come from distance and thinking about something and making plans on where to go from the future. So, and if you're not in that process, then I think Spirit is kind of pulling you to look at that and to examine maybe your motives on the thing, right? For those of you for whom that resonates. Because some of you are all about the thing, and you need to kind of take a check at your motives, because getting the thing might cost you more than you might want it to cost you in the long run. So, really interesting reading, Aquarius. Really interesting. Okay, Aquarius, that is your reading for the last half of June. I hope you found it not too confusing and helpful in some ways. Again, if this reading resonated with you, or if any of them do, and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading or info, just click on the description link below, click on that little arrow. You'll see my email address there, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the July 2020 general readings. Stay safe and well, Aquarius, and many blessings and peace to you, and I hope you come back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.